In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the rear brakes on this Volkswagen Tiguan. This is going to be located behind the rear wheels. Let's get into it. Before we start, we are going to have to retract the electronic parking brake with a special scan tool. You want to turn the key in the on position and follow along the instructions on your tool. Now it's retracting the electronic parking brake, and you're ready to replace the rear brake pads. You can turn the key off and disconnect your tool. In the back, behind this cover, just twist to the left, pop that out. You can see where this is held down. We're just going to pop this holder off, pull the jack out. There's a utility bag right here. Open up the utility bag. And you want to find this pick. We're going to use that. We're going to remove these caps. Use this hook tool. Just pull those out, just right through the center. Just like that. Remove the lug bolts. I'm going to use a 17mm socket. Before I take the last one off, I'm just going to hold the wheel, pull that off, and grab the wheel and pull it off. Before we take the caliper off, we just want to crack the bleeder screw free. We'll just take the cap off. I'm just going to use a pick. Using a 11mm socket. Just loosen this up. And then we'll snug it up again just so it doesn't leak any fluid. Now using a 13mm socket, we're going to take the bolts off. And the pins are going to be spinning, so we're just going to use some pliers just to hold the pins from spinning. Take those bolts out. And the top one as well. Pull that out. Grab the caliper. Pull that off. I'm going to use a caliper hanger. And just find an area to hang the caliper. I'm just going to hang it from that inner fender liner right there. Just have that out of the way. And just take a straight blade screwdriver, and we'll just pry these brake pads out. Take those off. On the back side here, there's two bolts. You want to take those out. We're going to use a triple square socket. This is a M14 socket. Get that started in there. Just because ours is rusty, I'm just going to give this a tap with a hammer. Get that to seat a little bit. And we'll loosen this up. There we go. I'll get the top one. Same M14 socket. Starting to move, that's good. There we go. It's moving now. I'll pull those bolts out. There you go. Now take the bracket off. Now remove this screw. Use a T30 socket. Take that out. Then you want to take the rotor off. If it's stuck on there, you want to hit with a hammer. Just give it a tap. It should come right off. Just hit in those locations. Take that off. And we'll take a wire brush, clean up the hub surface where there's any rust or corrosion. Now I'm just going to use a little anti-seize, just a thin coat, just to prevent corrosion in the future. Now take the rotor, a little brake parts cleaner, just clean it off, wipe it with a rag on the back side, then turn it around. Clean the front and wipe it off. Now take the rotor, slide it over the hub. Get the hole lined up with the threaded hole. Get the screw started. And we'll snug that down. Just snug, not too tight. Now we're going to clean up the caliper bracket. I'm just going to use a straight blade screwdriver. Pop these clips off. You want to clean up any corrosion underneath here. I'm just going to use a wire brush. That looks good. Just take a thin coat of silicone or some brake caliper grease. This is just going to prevent future corrosion, or slow it down anyway. That's good. Take the new clips and push those on. We can take the pins out. I'm going to clean these up. Just take a little brake parts cleaner. Clean this up. It's good. And clean up where the pin goes in. Just use a little wire brush. Clean that up a little bit. Thin coat on the pin. That's good. Slide that in. Make sure the boot is sealed all the way around. That's good. Do the same on this side. it's sealed. That's good. Take the caliper bracket, slide it over the rotor. I'm going to take some new bolts, get those started in the back. Get those started. Snug these down first. We're going to torque these bolts to 66 foot-pounds. And then we're going to go an additional 90 degrees. And if you don't have a torque angle meter, you can just mark the bolt and then just go 90 degrees. Do the best you can. Additional 90 degrees. All right. I'm going to take the brake pads, slide those in place. Take the caliper, take the hanger off. And we're going to compress the caliper now. Put a 11mm wrench over the bleeder screw. I'm going to put a hose over the bleeder screw just so we don't make a mess, but you can just have a drain bucket. Crack the bleeder screw open. Using a caliper compressing tool, push the piston in. Just go nice and slow. You can see the fluid coming through the tube as we compress it in. You can see the boot, it's got a little bit of air in it. Check the boot, make sure there's no rips in it. All right, that's all the way down. I'm going to close the bleeder screw. Snug that up the best you can. And pull the hose off. Pull the wrench off, and the compressing tool, and you can see that there's a little bit of air in that boot, so I'm just going to take a straight blade screwdriver. Just be careful, you don't want to rip the boot. Just pull that open a little bit. That should suck back in just like that. That looks good. All the way around. Slide that over the brake pads. Put the bolts in. Snug these down. And we'll torque these to 26 foot-pounds. Now, take your 11mm socket, snug up the bleeder screw. That's good. Put the cap on. Just Just take a little brake parts cleaner, clean up any residual brake fluid. That's good. Put the wheel on, line that up, and get the bolts started. Snug those down. And we're going to torque the lug bolts to 89 foot-pounds in a cross pattern to tighten the wheel down evenly. Just go around again, double check. Take the caps and push the caps in over the lug bolts. Now turn the key to the on position and with your scan tool attached, then go back into the electronic parking brake function on your scan tool. And then hit OK. It's re-engaging the parking brake, calibrating it, making sure it's okay. All right, and then you can disconnect the tool, turn the key off. Take the pick tool, put that back in the utility bag, wrap this up. And just tie it up. Place that back inside here. I'll take the jack, get that lined up. This little tie down. Just pull that through. Take the door, slide the two little tabs in the base, and then twist it closed. Now under the hood, you want to double check the fluid level. The reservoir is down here. You can see where the max line is. You want to top it off if you need to, adjust accordingly. Now we're going to pump the brake pedal nice and slow. This is a little bit of an air gap between the piston and the brake pads. Good 3 to 5 pumps should be good. That feels good.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.